Howdy, y'all. All right, so we are on part 5, the Zendesk Salesforce Sync. We need to make sure that these new SKUs being added will translate correctly when we sync from Salesforce into Zendesk. So I've got the notes for what the names of these SKUs are. The 3 of them that are listed there, and I made some notes on what these actually translate to. So like the US government premium with 24/5 US citizen support is going to map to a standard priority support, namely a premium plan. And the US government ultimate with 12/5 US citizen support will map to standard priority support for ultimate. And then we have US government ultimate with 24/7 US citizen support. That is going to also map to standard priority support ultimate, but we're also going to need to ensure it checks the box that it is 24/7 support. So to do this, let's go ahead and look at our sync. Now, specifically, this is all going to come from the Salesforce side for gathering accounts. What we need to do is look way down here to check plan by sub. And we will also have check plan by Zuora sub. So we need to check these 2 just to ensure that these new ones will map correctly. So you can see the 2 for ultimate. We have it where it says return ultimate if sub plan name C is this regex. So we can actually go to a regex tester. I just use an online one because I'm not very original. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paste in here our 3 SKUs. What I'm going to do is copy the regex that we have, paste it in here, and we'll notice right off the bat, none of these lit up. So this one and this one should have lit up. So we have a problem there with this. So what we're going to end up having to do is add a new one that will match these. So what we're going to do is it's going to start with US government ultimate. And yeah, that should be all we need, is to tell it to match US government ultimate. We'll probably need to put backspaces in there. Let's see. Okay, so it's still not matching with any of these. Let's remove some of these. All right. So let's have it just start with US. And we're going to need to do a multi-line. All right, so what we need to do is start with the ultimate one. All right, so government ultimate. So if we did it like this, it will match that first one. Let's go ahead and remove this just to see. All right, cool. So it'll match both of them. So this right here will work. So we're going to make a note. We need to modify. And what we're modifying is this function. So I need to modify function in. Let's copy our file path here. Move that out of the way so I can get to it. It's going to be live Salesforce gather accounts. I'm going to make that 4. Let's do this. All right, so we know our regex is this. So if we look at how we're doing that before, we need to return ultimate for that if subplan equals blah. So paste that in there. All right, and what I'm going to do is just go up here, set to courier new. All right. Let me go back to Arial. All right, so that will cover both of our ultimates for getting this. So let me go ahead and mark this as green. Actually, let's do highlighting green. Highlighting green. Okay, so we have this other one for premium. Back to our red tester and paste that in there. All right, so the things we have for premium are these three right here. I can already tell, or yeah, these three right here. None of those are going to match up. We can already tell that. So we kind of already have our code here. We just need to change this to premium. All right, cool. That will match. So we can do the exact same thing. What we're doing is returning premium and US government premium. Cool, so that will handle this. All right, so what we need to do is check the box for 24/7 support. So let's go up to where we're defining that. And just to make this easy, let's do find 24. Cool, so here's where we do it. We do account emergency support 24. So let's do this, do a find. Okay, so we're check account, set to false by default. We're going through, we notice, yep, it's not defined there. So let's go down, check customer subs. All right, if plan name C contains this, we're gonna push ultimate and add true. Okay, so let's put our regex tester in there. Ooh, not gonna match. Also, I've got the wrong one there, so let's copy the right one. All right, we notice that's not gonna match. So we could do this, but let's be a little more specific. And starts with this. All right, cool. So if we do it this way, we see that it matches. So we can copy this. We'll paste it in there, put quotes around it. So if you look at how we're doing this, we're doing if blah, 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 blah. So what we're doing is editing this. So we're gonna make a whole new thing. We need to modify function in, it's the same file. All right, so if we look at the line, we're modifying, what is that line, 164? So let's go ahead and mark that for us. 164, change if statement to, put this back to Arial just for sake of looking nice. All right, so I'm gonna put a little there, and what we currently have is this. So let me just, I'm gonna put this in a notepad real quick. All right. So if I do this, let me go ahead and put this in courier. That's what we currently have. So we need to change our regex there to this. So if plan name C is equal to this, we're going to push ultimate and check that it is 24 emergency support. Now we are applying it to Sev1 and Sev2 at this implementation. So really we should modify what that is named, but it's okay. We're just going to keep it as it is because ultimately it's just a naming code. As long as we know what it means, it's fine. All right, so that would cover this. So we're good to go there. Now, if we look at when we're defining these, let's see, look at, okay, so that's where we define that, and that's in check account. But if we look at subscriptions, we're doing customer subs plus Zora subs, unique and sort. This is why we can do that, the check 24 thing down here where we just add it, we just add the ultimate, because ultimately it will remove duplicates. But let's go ahead and also look at our Zora subs. All right, so Zora subs is a little simpler. We're doing just ultimate, premium, So we can check these, but I can kind of at a glance tell you they'll work because just needs to contain ultimate or premium. So that works, that's good. We don't actually have the Zuora stuff do the 24/7. Oh, we do. Here we go. So we can see how it has the same thing. So let's do, it's 195. We're gonna have to edit. So need to modify function in put this back to Arial. We want this to be function 4. All right, line, what's that? Line 209. 209. All right. Change if statement to. Now let's copy what we currently have here. I'm going to copy it into a notepad so I can remove all those extra spaces because we don't need that. Go back here, we're going to paste. I'm going to switch this over to Courier. And what we need to do is change it to the exact same thing. So there we go. That will ensure it does the exact same thing. So that once again covers us on this basis. We already know these rest of these are covered. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the highlighting. That was just for us visually to see that we've done this. Okay. So to do this, we're going to need to go ahead and actually make the modifications. So let's do that. Go back to the main project. Edit Web IDE. All right, so we can use this. We know we're, let's kind of start at these other ones where we're line specific because that's going to be a little more important. So lib ZD-SFDC Sync US Federal, Salesforce gather accounts. All right, so our first one was at line 209. So let's go ahead and go all the way down there because we're going to work bottom up. All right, 209, here's where we needed to modify it. And we can see what we needed to modify it to was using this regex right here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that does put it up to 209 lines, so it's longer than I would like, but that's okay. Well, we can clean this up later. All right, so that'll cover that. Next up, we had line 164, so let's go up to line 164. All right, and here's that, and we know we needed to change basically just the regex for it. So let's go ahead and change the regex. All right, and that should cover us on that basis. All right, so then we needed to modify this function. So let's go to that function. And what we saw we needed to add were these two lines here. So let's go ahead and copy those in. I'm gonna put them right here. Seems like a good place. All right, because it'll fit along with all the rest of them. That'll cover our basis on that front as well. And that was all we needed to modify. So we'll go ahead and adding lines for 24/7 support. We're not going to commit to master. We're going to commit to a new branch. I'm fine with the default naming. All right, we're going to create an MR. Make sure we link it to our parent project here. So let me scroll down and do that first. We're not closing it, so I'm just going to put relates to. All right, so that'll link it. We don't want it to actually close, so I'm going to tilde that out. Yep, does that by default. Change level by default. It should do that by default, but we'll double check it. We're going to go ahead and mark these out because it should all be done by default, but let's double check. All right, so it's got the right label, doing change level 2, US Federal, we got the assignees. All we need to make sure we do is set the milestone. All right, you see it already does that by default. look at our name. There we go. Create our MR. There's our merge request. We'll go to our parent issue and make sure it gets mentioned. There it is. I'm going to refresh. And I'm going to look at the top just to make sure. Yep, there's the added MR. Cool. We've got that done. So we'll get Sarah to review this and we'll kind of go from there. Now, I'm going to put this in draft. So we're not quite ready to, we don't want this merged until after October 1st, because this is for the following deployment. But we close that out and mark this as done. So yeah, there's part 5, the ZD-SFDC Sync. This one was particularly easy. Sometimes they're not. But yeah, because we'd already kind of set this up in the past, we knew we were good there. But the other areas you might want to check when adding something new like that is to, since we're just adding subscriptions, not a big deal. That's usually what you have to do for SKU. If we hadn't already set up something for 24/7, we need to make sure that there's a Zendesk org field, and then the Zendesk object and those fun and that part of the code also handles syncing that and all that fun stuff. But since we've already got that set up in the past, we're good to go there. That's really all we need to do to add these SKUs into our sync for US Federal. It would follow kind of the same pattern for global. But yeah, we'll have a part 6 where we focus on the remaining portions of our planning process. So look forward to seeing you there.